Okay. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? All right. Awesome. Always nice to come back to my hometown or home county, Cabarrus. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a project that we're getting started up at Duke, and this is just an introductory slide. How we're trying to piece MS together. Okay. So we've already had a lot about this. MS is hard. Okay. MS is really hard because there's so many things that go on that are influencing its phenotype, its expression, your day-to-day experience with the disease. I mean, there's genetics elements, there's environmental elements, there's your immune history, there's even the temperature outside, your own biorhythms. Heck, even your emotional states at the time can have a direct influence on what your symptoms are doing. And it's really hard. And it's exceedingly hard, too, because we have so many limited biomarkers. I mean, these guys are doing some amazing work, right? But as it is right now, speaking as a clinician, all I have is what my patients tell me about how they've been doing, usually at a clinic visit that occurs at about once every 3 to 6 months, and an MRI scan, which is typically done once a year. Now, how in the world can you encapsulate a disease experience that is changing moment to moment with an annual scan? You're just not going to do it. How are you going to be able to actually encapsulate the disease when you only talk to your doctor but once every couple of months? It's really hard. And not to mention the fact that it gets even harder because, I mean, I see it all the time. How do you describe these things? How do you describe this experience? It's so very hard because the experience in and of itself is so unique. It's not like a sore throat. It's not like a runny nose. It's not something that everyone has experience with and has become sort of a societal parlance, a societal vernacular. You just don't have that information. So it gets really hard. So as a result of all of that, every MSer has a unique experience. And and as a result of that, it makes it very, very difficult I mean, the stresses of that in and of itself can be a lot. And can you just imagine, because of the fragmented experience in and of itself, I mean, no one can explain that, at least not yet. No one can anticipate it, and we can't really effectively manage it. So where do we go from here? Okay, so our project is, we're calling it MS Mosaic, and what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to collect those fragments of the MS experience, collect it together to create the most comprehensive picture of MS to date, okay? And we're about to actually start this study. It's going to be starting out probably in the next couple of weeks, maybe December, depending on a couple of factors. And I want to talk to you a little bit about this today. Okay. Well, I mean, ultimately, this is the point, right? The focus is on you, okay? The one person is at the center of all of this, okay? Your unique experiences, your unique story. We want to know that, and we want to know that in nauseating detail, okay? Because that's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of all of this, really, okay? We want to know about your symptoms. We want to know about your relapses. We want to know about your disease, okay? Now, from talking to our own patients up at Duke, certainly the thing that seems to be the biggest challenge are the day-to-day symptoms, okay? I mean, we've had all this talk about the genetics and the omics and all that, and that is amazing. That is definitely worth pursuing, okay? But what about what's going on now, okay? How can we make that better? How can we learn what's doing all of that at the moment to moment? So we focused on the symptoms. That's what we're focusing on first. So think of it as a bottom-up as opposed to a top-down. And it's seemingly chaotic, right? I mean, there's 22 common symptoms in multiple sclerosis. 22. And none of them are unique to MS. And they're also, and they can be actually originating from a variety of sources. I mean, are you experiencing that fatigue because of your MS? Or is it because your 4-year-old daughter kept you up last night? Is it because of the medications that you're taking? Maybe it was your baclofen for your spasticity. Was it your gabapentin? Was it your tricyclic antidepressant that is supposedly helping you get sleep at night, helping you with your pain, but it makes you groggy all day the next day? I mean, so where's all this stuff coming from? And so the details about the symptoms don't always tell you why they are happening and why they change. So how can we monitor all this continuously? And how can we get information about, we have to find a way to do this in a universal way, in a precise way, in an engaging way, and ideally an educational way. So what we've done is we developed an app, okay? I mean, come on, I mean, this, I wish if I wasn't using my phone over there right now, I'd probably take a scanning picture of the room and see how many people have their phones out and checking their email, texting, etc. More than 2/3 of the American population now owns smartphones. And just as many people, and 67, 68% of those actually use their smartphones on a regular basis to look at health information. Now, among the MS population, it's actually higher. Something on the order of 83% of folks have smartphones, and about 80, 90% actually will use that same device to get information about their disease. So that's just where we're starting. And we use them everywhere, doing everything. Take a look. I'm not going to ask for a raise of hands. But we do. The thing that I honestly surprise myself the most, and it's not that first one, okay? It's the shower. I mean, okay, I mean, I promise I'm a gadget guy. I have the iPhone 7. I'm okay, it's water resistant. In the shower, though. Really? I mean, I have to ask, I mean, is that because people are maybe using it outside, like on their sink, etc., and maybe streaming some music? I don't know. I hope to heck that's not actually in the shower with you. I'll just leave it at that. So we decided, again, we would use this app. And my Apple Watch is not helping me right now. Okay. So we developed the app. And again, this is just the initial screen. What the app actually does is it walks you through, this is a research study, okay? There is a consent process. The app itself walks you through all of that. And then it gets some background information about your particular disease, okay? We get a little bit about what type of MS you have, how long you've had the disease, what medications you've been on in the past. We also get some of the epidemiologic data. You've heard mention of how smoking can actually have an influence on the disease. We want to know about that, how long you've been smoking, whether or not you had a history of mono because of the relationship between MS and Epstein-Barr virus. We also want to know about your other medical conditions, okay? So we're going to get all that information essentially on the first day, okay? After that, it's pretty straightforward. On a day-to-day basis, you get a notification asking about your symptoms. We ask about all 22, but you don't have to answer 22 times. It actually remembers what you put in the previous day, so all you have to do is change the ones that you need to change, or change the medications that you took. If your symptoms are the same from day to day, if you've taken the medications, haven't added or subtracted, you're done in 5 seconds from that notification screen. You're done. That's it. If you've made some changes, it actually takes less than a minute to actually complete the survey to make the right adjustments. And then we're also asking folks to do weekly tasks about their disease. Now, tasks And they take less than 5 minutes. And to prove my point, I'm actually going to show you some. Okay? So on the left there is a tapping speed. On the right is a 9-hole peg test. Both of these have been used in MS trials before. Okay? You can't see my fingers tapping on that, but it's meant to assess coordination. Okay? The one on the left, the tapping speed, is also supposed to try and assess fatigue. Okay? That's it. You're done. Okay? So you do that about once a week. Now, the other thing we need to get into is the information that we can also get from your phone beyond just within the app itself. We want step data. We want sleep data. We want all of that. Now, Apple right now has a platform called ResearchKit. You may or may not have heard of it, but it links up to that health app. It's that, it's that app that you frequently put in that small folder on the last page, et cetera, on your phone because you don't really look at it all that much. Maybe you do. But that health app actually can collect upwards of 82 different data types. And there are 13 of those data types that have been at least directly or indirectly related to MS. And we want all of that too, if we can. And so we're getting information from whatever